This sounds like the
Here we go.
song they play between commercials of Saved by the Bell.
The Cure?
You know when they're coming in, they're showing the school from the outside?
Like the segues?
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Gentleman's Dojo.
Oh, yeah.
To, what was that?
I'm just feeling good today.
Oh, okay.
So I'm feeling good.
It's a beautiful day in Southern California.
Yep.
To my left, hailing from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
This city where really nothing exists anymore, but I still love it.
162 lean, mean pounds.
Get the fuck out. You are definitely pushing 2. You are definitely over, under 200.
What do you think?
I think 202.
That's probably close.
What are you?
Yeah. Maybe around that.
What are you?
I think the lowest I was recently, within the last year or two, was 180. So I could drop a few. Listen.
A few?
Listen.
A few? How much do you weigh?
I told you, I think around 199.
202. I'm pretty on the mark then.
It doesn't help having a cupcake pizza-a-thon Monday night, so that's gotta hurt a little bit.
Well, my name is Steve Byrne. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You just got
also
back
known
from,
as the City of Champions.
You just got back from Aspen, correct?
I did just get back from
Did I
Aspen.
tweet you at all when you were in
I did.
Aspen?
Yeah, you. Of course you did. You
okay.
Always.
What
tweet
were
me
some of the things I wrote? I always like to support you. I always like to tell people to come out and see you, be very supportive of you, even though I wasn't there. I saw that the plane ticket was like $800, and I was like, now I'm going to take a loss of $1,200.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a cute way of taking a dig at me. Okay, let's find what Gary tweets. Gary tweeted me while I was in Aspen. Let's find it.
I got it. Here we go. Attention, Aspen. Looking for some generic comedy at 8,000 feet? Then see Steve Byrne and Gareth Reynolds Saturday. And as always, no charge.
Oh, I took a picture of me
Right.
in Aspen, and then you commented, "Town looks dead. Should be a great night for comedy." You're my friend, right? I mean, are you my friend?
And then, no. And I'm not working with you this week. And then I also wrote, our company would like to book you for a party. We have a limited budget. Would you take a Coinstar receipt as form of payment? And you texted me offline. You said, get me in touch with these people.
Shut up. Good God.
You were definitely interested.
You're a horrible person. So today,
yes.
joining us, we have great friend, amazing talent, beautiful young lady, Nasim Pedrad. You may know her from SNL. Currently, she's on Scream Queens. She was on John Mulaney's sitcom that was on Fox for, I think, 13 episodes. So we can ask her about all that, but ask her definitely about, SNL. SNL just as a comic, even when you're starting off, that's something every comic, I think, entertains the thought of.
Sure.
But then you realize how difficult and obviously from your end, how talented you have to be on that show. And you just thought, never.
I could do the
never
warm-up on it.
Oh,
or hold
God.
up the cue cards.
They don't have a warm-up there.
They don't, no.
No, they have cast members come out.
Oh, they do?
And the episode I went to, Michael Che came out and did some stuff with Bobby Moynihan, and then the band plays the whole time, and they goof off and talk to the crowd, and then they get into it. So
yeah, J.B. Smooth did it for a little while, too. Remember J.B. Smooth?
Yeah, he did it. SNL?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was a cast member for a little bit.
Was he really?
He explained the story about how he did warm-up on it and kind of jump-started him to some other stuff.
Wow.
I might be the only warm-up guy that hasn't. Well, I've gotten those offers. I just choose to stay where I am.
Right, of course.
I know my strength. I know my core.
Jesus. Who's your favorite SNL cast member?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I got to maybe Chris Farley is up there.
Yeah.
I think you got to break it down by season, though, right? I mean, there's so many great seasons with different cast members.
It's weird because when you talk to people, it depends on their generation.
Yeah.
Because I grew up.
Eddie Murphy, obviously. I mean, it's like, how do you
pick?
I
think when I was like, I always loved Phil Hartman and Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
And then Farley. And, and if I was a little older, I'd probably say Martin Short. And if I was a little younger, I'd say Will Ferrell. But I grew up in that nook where Dana Carvey was he was in everything.
Yeah.
He was in every sketch, and anytime he appeared, you're just like, here we go.
Norm Macdonald?
Oh, the best. Probably one of the best update anchors.
Yeah, he was great. And now your buddy's doing it, so that's got to be a lot of pressure on Colin. Your buddy's Colin Jost, and there's got to be a lot of pressure because obviously... No, I'm being serious.
What?
No, because I'm saying that anchor job has always been a springboard for other things. I mean, obviously Seth Meyers is doing, Tina Fey. I mean, does he think about that, or is he just concerned about the?
I'm not
job?
him, so I don't know, Gary. That's a question you'd have to ask him.
You and I should do improv together because that's a great response. No, and we're a team, right? You should have been like, yes.
Did you ever, as a comic, ever think you would audition for SNL at some point?
No. My focus was getting on the real world. I wanted to get on the real world. Because I wanted to bang some of the girls in the house.
Are you serious?
I did a real world audition.
Honestly, what was your role? What was a dream gig for you when you're starting off as a stand-up? What did you think? Oh, that's for me.
You mean getting on a show?
Any show.
Well,
what is a show you wanted to get on?
Probably one of those MTV reality Road Rules or traveling across
the show
the
where you need no talent.
No talent, no.
And you have to be at least average looking.
Well, some of them were better. I mean,
so you're going 0 for 2.
That I couldn't get on. And I couldn't drive the Winnebago because of my eye condition. So I always have to tell
Where's
somebody
Gary?
else.
Well, he's not driving again. What's he doing? He's jerking off in the back, as always. So, honestly, what was there a show or was there a dream that you had as you're starting off as a stand-up? Did you really dream of doing something?
It wasn't Saturday Night Live. I know that.
Did you have a goal? Jesus Christ.
Let's see. I don't.
Fuck your goal, guys. Here we go.
Good
Let's
improv
welcome
player.
to the show. Do you want to welcome her?
I've never met her actually.
Oh, okay.
No, first time.
Well, first time. Okay. Welcome to the show, Miss Nasim Pedrad. Nasim, thank you so much for calling in.
You're so welcome. Hi, guys.
Hi, Nasim.
To my left, this is Gary Cannon. He's our co-host. He does the warm-up on Conan. He does warm-up on Dr. Ken. He did warm-up on Sullivan and Son. And basically, he just trashed me the whole time. But thank you so much for...
So I did two out of 3 comedies.
Gary.
Third one, not
Jesus
so much.
Nice to meet
Christ.
you.
Nice to meet you.
You're the worst. So, everybody knows you from SNL and Mulaney and Scream Queens. But I got to ask you, as someone who has a mother that came over from Korea, you obviously came over from Iran with your parents. Did your parents ever put pressure on you, or have they always been supportive of your pursuit in show business, in acting, in being on stage, as two people that immigrated here to the United States? Do you ever feel pressure, or were they always just on board?
I mean, I honestly can say they were always super supportive, but I can't even imagine how terrified they must have been underneath all that. Like, to immigrate to this country, just give up like so much to give your kids this better life, and then both kids come to you and they're like, I want to pursue improv. I can't even imagine how terrified they must have been, but they were really cool about keeping that to themselves. I mean, the most they pressured me was to be like, what about now getting your master's in theater? Because they were like, well, we could always like teach, but I didn't want to be that kind of student loan debt. So I said no. And they were like, all right.
Well, I got to ask you, what are the because I think before we'd talked just personally, but there's some pretty heavy circumstances under which they moved here, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, they met here. They were studying abroad. My dad was at UC Berkeley. They were kind of just planning on going to college in the States and then moving back to Iran. And then the revolution there happened in '79. So
right.
In '81, they went back to like sell their house and like get rid of everything and come back out here. And my mom had me during that in '81. And it was like post-revolution Iran. It was also like in the middle of the Iran-Iraq war. The day she was like in labor with me, all her siblings were like, it was chaos. Everyone was like, there's a lot going on. And people were like in prison. It was just a very tumultuous, crazy time, but they were able to sort of wrap their lives up there. And then my dad came to the States. My mom and I couldn't come right away. We had to go to like Germany for a year.
Wow.
And then I met my dad at LAX when I was 3, I think.
Wow. And out of all that heartache and duress, as you mentioned, do your parents ever, do they ever talk about the fact that, wow, you, not only you, but also your sister, your younger sister, are involved in comedy? So has it been in some form or some way cathartic for them to see, look what we moved out of, and now look at what our daughters are out there on the airwaves and on our television sets providing comedy for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're so like bewildered by it still, I think. But they love it. I mean, my dad, especially like once I started doing SNL, because they're immigrants, so they don't like, I grew up a lot of times feeling like, it was harder to, I didn't have like all the pop culture references that my friends had. My parents just didn't grow up here. So I was really like insecure about that as a kid, just wanting to like a Bruce Springsteen concert. And I'm like, you're ruining my life because you don't know about like these very American things. But, because as a kid, you just want to fit in. But now I'm old enough to just appreciate how hilarious they are in their foreignness. But,
Right.
But yeah, like when I got to SNL, watching a show every Saturday that was like covering everything topical and pop culture related and relevant. And so to have my like middle-aged Iranian father go from having no awareness of that stuff to having, I would say, too much awareness, like to the point where at some point, like I remember I was just like shopping one day and he called me. He's like, "Hey, guess what today is? It's Adam Levine's birthday." Why are you telling me that? You're terrifying.
Would they come to the tapings? Would they come see you live when you did it in New York?
Yeah. They came at least once or twice a year, yeah. They live in California, so they would fly out every season.
And was that a big thing for them to see? I mean, because that's, chaos there with all the guests and the bands and stuff like that. So that had to be a very cool thing Steve did Sullivan and Son for 3 years, and his parents never once came to see the show.
Would you shut the fuck up?
So that's pretty cool
that
they...
untrue, and you are the worst human being I've ever met in my life. God
they were not proud of you.
Fuck
Nasim's
off.
family proud of her.
Yeah, they were not proud of you.
Yeah,
they were not proud of you.
Yeah, they had a timeshare in Europe for the 6 months that we were filming. Fuck off, Gary. So, Nasim, so you move here, you're doing great, and then you go to UCLA. Is that when you study theater, is that when you started getting involved in comedy or thinking of improv and sketch?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I did everything, that is offered to at the high school level, which is just like an improv team and drama club and doing like the comedies, and, like within the theater program. But then I was like, well, I'm going to audition for the theater program at UCLA. If for some reason I get in, I'm going to try to at least ride that out and see if I could even like humor the possibility of having a career or attempting to have a career in it. So at UCLA, that's kind of where, and I was doing like dramatic stuff in the acting program as well, but that's when I started to kind of write more.
Right.
And I was writing comedy, and I started taking classes at the Groundlings. And what I loved about doing that and writing was that it was just like, especially at UCLA, I mean, I went to school with so many great actors and actresses, and even after I graduated, I just started to feel really terrified at the notion of just like having my entire career be hinged on the possibility of an audition that I'm then going up against a million other girls for, so writing was a way of me like having a little bit of control.
Nasim, can you explain to Gary what writing is?
Okay, so you like have an idea.
Next.
So yeah, I just started writing comedy so that I could then perform it and not be waiting around for like, these opportunities to come by.
Because, but that
generate them myself.
That parlays into the next thing I was going to ask you is that you wrote your own one-woman show, Me, Myself, and I Ran. Was that the first kind of tentpole for you that kind of jump-started things, would you say?
That was my big, yeah. That's when the biggest like shift in my career took place. Because up until then, I had been doing, UCB and Groundlings, which were great. And in between, some of those, in between the levels there, sometimes you have to like wait a year because there's like a wait list to get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, I was just like, in an effort to not lose my mind, I was like, I have to keep performing. I have to just keep performing. So I wrote that one woman show as a submission to the it was like the year after the Aspen Comedy Festival ended.
Right.
So it was like the HBO Comedy Festival in Vegas. And they, they take submissions in different categories. And one of the categories was like a 30-minute one-person show. So I used that as sort of a deadline for myself. And I wrote, that show, submitted it, it got in. Once I went there, that's kind of what gave me the exposure I was hoping for. I got an agent out of that, and then that agent I'm still with to this day.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And he was like, from that show, he was like, we got to get you seen. So I think he told Tina Fey about my show. She saw it and then recommended me to Lorne Michaels for SNL.
Oh, wow.
And that's when the process began of getting my first of 2 auditions.
And
they flew out to the Groundlings and saw me, and then, yeah.
Could you explain to Steve what an agent is?
Okay, Gary. Fuck off.
Chalk one
Jesus
up for the
Christ.
good guy.
Both of you have very huge blind spots in the industry, it sounds like, but in very different
We just
ways.
moved here from Wichita.
Oh, cool.
So, Nasim, I got to ask you, what
I
is
feel like
it?
you guys could use just like a chill Google search.
What is it like getting? Do you remember the exact moment where you were, what you were doing when you got the call that you got SNL?
Oh, that I actually got it? Yeah, I had just auditioned for the second time. So by then I was just like, whatever happens, happens. A lot of times, a lot of people audition 2 or 3 times, and this year it happened to be in the same summer. So I did my first audition, and I was like, okay, well, if they have us audition again, it won't be till next summer. And then they were like, actually, you're coming back in 2 weeks, and we want all new material. So I did that, and then I landed in LA from that, and they were like, you're turning right back around. You're going to go meet with Lorne.
Oh.
And you have this one-on-one meeting where I think the point of it is just for him to kind of make sure you're not crazy. And he didn't tell me. I didn't know still that I had gotten it. He knew, but he didn't say in the meeting. And then I left, and I was wandering around Midtown. My phone died, so I went into a Singular Wireless store to charge it.
Singular
and I was
Wireless.
just fully just trolling at the Singular Wireless store, sitting on the floor waiting for my phone to turn on. And then when it turned on, I got a million phone calls and voicemails, and then
How crazy is it that you're celebrating with the staff of the Singular Wireless crew while your phone is plugged in behind the front desk? It's like, guys, you'll never believe this. What?
What did you do for your 2 auditions? What were the audition? What did you do?
I mean, all they tell you is you have 5 minutes. So everybody's audition is different. I've never gone back and looked at mine. They're on the server in the offices at SNL. I'd be way too mortified to. But it was, for me, I was like, my best bet is going to be just showing, some versatility. So I did characters I did a few celebrity impressions, and then just characters from the Groundlings that I had developed. And then I kind of I was told we would only be auditioning once per summer, so it kind of blew my wad on the first audition. And
Right.
then they called back and they're like, you need all new material. I was like, fuck, what am I going to do?
Sure.
So I was literally Googling actresses on the flight over, writing part of my audition, just on the flight over and in the hotel room. But I ended up doing not as mainstream. I remember I did in my second audition, I did Charlene Yee.
Oh, wow.
Girl from Knocked Up. Yeah. And Dora the Explorer. Real outside the box.
Well, I got to say, my favorite impression, I hope you don't mind, we're going to just play a brief clip, and then I'll ask you about this real quick, and then we're going to wrap this up, because I know you got to do something, but I'm just going to play this really quick.
Tons of jackets all over the store.
Oh, damn! Look at all them. I like this one. I like that one. I like that one. I like this one. I don't like this one. Just kidding. That one's my favorite.
So, Nasim, Aziz Ansari, that impression, I remember the first time sitting on my couch and watching that, just dying. I mean, you nailed that impression, and I got to ask you, was he cool with it, or because I know he'd come to those after parties and stuff, and is that something too, where you do an impression and you meet the person afterwards? Is there ever static?
Oh yeah, it's first of all, like, I tried so hard getting that. They cut that at dress rehearsal. I don't know if it's because I was so jarringly resembled him or like what it was, but everyone was like, "This, we don't know what to do with this." That's why I ended up like showing a clip of it on Conan. Then we released it on Funny or Die later. But that's like perfect example of like, you do so much stuff that doesn't even like, make it to the actual show that everyone's watching.
Right.
That one got cut at dress, but I ran into him one year at the White House Correspondents' Dinner right after I'd filmed that. And I was like, Aziz, look, it's Aziz. And I just showed him a picture, and he was so cool about it, but I could tell mortified at the same time.
Right.
I really look like him. It's incredible.
Well, that's for the first time I'm like, I would actually sleep with Aziz now. Nasim, we got to ask you to wrap this up because I know you got to do something. We're going to see how good Wikipedia knows Nasim Pedrad. So here's the first question I want to ask you. According to Wikipedia, what is your first television role?
Ooh, ER?
Wrong. Gilmore Girls.
Maybe I'm wrong. I have a bad memory. Oh, was Gilmore Girls before ER?
Yeah.
That's a blur.
Okay.
Maybe that was. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
You are definitely.
ER was first.
You could be right, but you could be wrong.
Steve,
according
you'd
to
be perfect
Wikipedia.
at this game.
We'll never know.
Steve, you nailed this game because you don't have that much background.
Would you shut the fuck?
Sorry.
Here's our second question of 3. What is your first film role, according to Wikipedia? I'll give you a hint. It sounds like
is
something.
It an animated?
It sounds like something you'd see on Cinemax.
Oh my God, I'm really eating it. I don't remember. So probably it sounds like Cinemax. Probably not Despicable Me.
No. It would be
cool.
73 Virgins.
Oh my God, that is considered a movie that happened? Awesome. Yes,
This is the last question.
that is a deep cut. Yeah.
Hit the mark as best as you can. According to Wikipedia, how many impressions did you do on SNL? I have the number. You let me know what you think the number would be.
I literally have no idea. Is the number 25?
Whoa, pretty
15?
close. A little over, 28. 28 impressions.
Ooh.
According to
Not so
Wikipedia.
bad.
And what's the impression you get this isn't on Wikipedia, but what is the impression you get asked to do most when somebody runs into you? Hey, do this one.
It's usually split between Ariana Huffington and Kim Kardashian.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Well, Nasim,
Two very different people.
we know you got it. We know you got a tight schedule. We cannot thank you enough for spending time with us.
Best. This was so fun.
You are literally one of my favorite human beings in the world. I love you and continued success to you.
I feel the same about you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys work out all your issues. I love you guys.
We won't.
All right, Nasim Pedrad, everybody. Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Nasim.
Nasim. We love you.
Bye, guys.
All right,
Bye.
take care. That was awesome. And by the way, I could have asked her 1,000 more questions, but we do have a time crunch. And
does she do a lot of stand-up at the Comedy Store?
She does not do stand-up. She's sketch, improv, and just one of the best. And I did want to ask her about the transition from leaving SNL to go to Mulaney. And then I think anytime you take that gamble, it's like, well, the show, and look, at the time, Mulaney was like,
it's going to be the hit show.
It's going to be the hit show.
Martin
It's the new
Short was on it.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And so I think you're thinking, wow, this is a given. Lauren's producing it. It's on Fox. They're really getting behind it. And, it lasted 13 episodes, which is a shame because I watched the first few episodes. I really did. I thought the show was really funny. I really enjoyed the heck out of it. And I'm a big fan of John Mulaney's as a stand-up as well, too. So I know that he's got a new special out now, The Comeback Kid, which is awesome. That is on Netflix. I got to say this. After spending the weekend, I went to Netflix and watched a bunch of different stand-up specials to just see the intros, watch some of them. I saw Tom Segura's special, Mostly Stories. I don't know if you've seen this. His cold open is literally one of the funniest cold opens I've seen. And I just worked with Gareth Reynolds in Aspen. I go, dude, you got to see this. So we played it, and Gareth watched it the next morning again. We would go to breakfast. He's like, dude, I just watched that. It's fucking funny. So if you get a chance, check it out.
He's blowing up. I mean, I know that he did a couple of shows locally here in Burbank at a club, and I think a lot of them were sold out. I mean, he really has a great little following. He goes on the road, and I know some of the guys that open for him and say he's just a good dude. And he just had a baby with his wife who
and they have a very popular podcast right now as well. And we've got to mention that our good friend Ari Shaffir is returning to Comedy Central with, I think, this is the second season? Is it the second season? Third? Third season of This Is Not Happening, where he gets a bunch of great comics to tell some really embarrassing stories.
Yeah, Al Madrigal's going to be on.
Al's on this
first
season.
Yeah.
Our great friend Steve Simone from Good Times, that podcast, he's on it this season. So definitely check that out. Tuesday nights, I think it's at 10 o'clock. Is that right?
No, it's 12:30 a.m.
12:30 a.m., sorry. 12:30 a.m. Tuesday, so technically Wednesday, I guess. But set the DVR if you're going to be asleep. But Ari's a great guy, great podcast. It's about that time. You want to let the folks know?
I was going to ask you what TV shows you got coming up. Anything? I just wanted to know. We're talking about TV shows.
This was such a fun...
Yeah, no. I guess I'm the asshole
All right,
again.
what's your... Good.
Since Mulaney got canceled, maybe TBS will pick it up. All righty, here we go. Let's see.
You are the fucking worst. What is it? Go.
Oh, this is great, by the way. You and I travel a lot, right? We talked about our hotel scams. By the way, my mom used one of the little tidbits that we gave out last week.
Sure.
Yeah. She got a free adult video in the room. She was able to work the system.
Disgusting. Go on. What is it?
Video. We are giving away, this is going to be great, for all of our travelers out there. Airbnb has just teamed with us. They love our show. We just got a call from corporate up in Mountain View, California, which is where they're located. And the fine folks of Airbnb, they said to us, because you stay in condos a lot, they said, hey, we want to give away a little gift certificate for people who want to travel from coast to coast.
Yeah.
So let's do $350
Boom.
from the fine folks of Airbnb. Now, $350, that you could stay a month in Omaha or one night in New York City. It's up to you how you choose to use the Airbnb coupon. But we'll do the 19th caller with the phrase that pays. And let's do it for $350
I love it.
for Airbnb. It was great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well,
we'd like to thank Nasim.
Gotta thank Nasim.
Scream Queens
on Fox. I think she's working on something. I don't know if I can mention, but anyways, that she's been working nonstop for years. So be on the lookout for her. You can follow her on Twitter, I believe.
Sure.
And where do they find you?
Did you pump up the music just so it wouldn't hear me?
No. Where do they find you?
Canon Comedy. You know that.
Yeah, I know it. At Canon Comedy, at Steve Byrne Live. Guys, we do want to talk to you about your job. So hit us up on Twitter, at Canon Comedy, at Steve Byrne Live. We want to talk to you about your occupation. We're still going to do our thing with our comedians, our friends that we love.
Yes.
But we do want to make that a part of the show as well.
If you have kind of a crazy, goofy gig, if you want to talk about it, whatnot, we would love to absolutely discuss it with you. And you can remain anonymous, which would basically be what we call Steve's career. Anonymous.
Connection is made.